Okay, so we chose to pick Kellogg's as our brand, and Kellogg's makes a variety of cereal and snack foods.
So some facts about Kellogg's. Kellogg's employs almost 34,000 people. Kellogg's main office is in Battle Creek, Michigan, and Chicago, Illinois. Kellogg's has manufacturing locations throughout the United States and throughout the world. Kellogg's manufactures 15 different brands with many different products within each one.
Some of the problems that Kellogg's is facing is one of the major problems being Kellogg's currently faces is the after effects of worker strikes from the late 2021 to early 2022 from around the United States. The employees were on strike because they felt their pay and benefits were inadequate. Additionally, in the post-COVID era, Kellogg's is most likely among the many companies that have let more of their employees work remotely, which could bring up potential management issues involving teams.
Kellogg's also faces many potential future management issues because they recently announced their intention to split Kellogg's into two separate companies, WK Kellogg Co., which will house Kellogg's North American cereal brands, and Kellanova, which will house Kellogg's global snack brands, international cereal and noodles brands, plant-based foods, and the North American frozen breakfast foods.
Okay, so I'm Louis Burby. I chose chapter two. My major is supply chain management. We look at diversity within the workforce on all levels. Kellogg's is a company that does great with diversity, but it is interesting to see what they will do as the split of the company goes through to hold up that trend. Also, in chapter two, we look at environmental forces, particularly globalization, which is the focus of one side of the split. Potential problems, the split of the company to have one side focus on globalization, other side focuses on North American and health foods. How to deal with the environmental forces like this, holding up the diversity ratios within the company as the split goes through, and better treatment of employees to avoid another strike, which falls under ethical issues. So the first solution to globalization, or well, that's what it is. The problem of globalization is being solved by the split of the company. The split allows one side to direct all their focus on the global market for their brand. This is a good decision because different markets want different products. Having a team dedicated to creating the best products for other countries will help maximize the company's name across the world. Upholding diversity trends will need hiring standards and equal opportunity for all applicants when creating new teams. Aim for the same ratios or higher when it comes to diversity racially and ethnically. Also remain higher than 34% women workers, which is what the company is currently at. And then when looking at the ethical issues in the strike, avoiding another strike to be the number one goal, holding employees in higher regards than stockholders, which was a problem before. To do this, fair pay and hours are needed for the employees. And another thing is to sit down with union representatives from Kellogg's employees regularly to discuss employee satisfaction. Both sides would need to be willing to compromise to make everything work.
Okay, so I am Carly Andrews. My major is finance, and my reason of choice is I chose chapter four because a major topic is stress and the maintaining of stress in a job setting. With Kellogg's split into sub companies, a major factor is obviously going to be stress, as well as I took a kind liking to this chapter due to the major fact that I managed a restaurant as my past employment. Work life in that atmosphere is nothing but stress and not being able to manage it. Therefore, this chapter in relation to how Kellogg's could implement these strategies is something I enjoyed learning and correlating. Um, Chapter four problems. Some of the potential stress issues that can occur in regards to the split are the following. Emotions can become intense, leading employees and management to become rigid in their problem solving approaches. More errors with the different, more strenuous workloads and issues with role demands, with them not having a set way to manage day to day functions. Um, a solution is organizational coping. Kellogg's could implement the following strategies to help keep most stress levels at bay. Kellogg's could create a healthy work culture, as in promoting inclusive practices, setting clear objectives, making sure there is an understanding of long term goals, etc. The company could keep the workloads reasonable and not demand too much out of each employee/department. Kellogg's could implement a properly designed work schedule, as in something statistically proven to have more productivity and yet keep the workers happy, as in a 4-day work week. And another solution is collateral programs. With Kellogg split into 2 different companies, they have a better opportunity to introduce programs that assist with stress management. These programs could include the following, but are not limited to courses and trainings, health education to employees, employee fitness programs. This in itself has so many benefits to the employees to make them able to manage their stress levels better, as in there is typically a reduction in healthcare costs.
All right, my name is Abigail Altman. My major is finance. I chose chapter 6 because it offers different methods of motivation, which I thought would be very helpful to employees at Kellogg's when they transition from working at Kellogg's to one of the 2 new companies. So some problems in chapter 6 are the worker strikes Kellogg's faced recently resulted from workers demanding better pay and enhanced benefits, which means the individual rewards that Kellogg's has in place do not work well. Some potential motivation issues that could result from Kellogg's 2-way split are issues with designing new job positions for each company, issues regarding goal setting, and issues stemming from participation. So a solution to the worker strikes is Kellogg's could prevent more worker strikes by increasing the base pay of employees to an amount that better reflects their work, increasing the amount of paid time off an employee can get, and setting up more individual rewards for employees, such as bonuses for quality work. So a solution to the job design issue is, since Kellogg's is splitting into 2 companies from 1 company, that means some employees might have to start doing different jobs. To ensure employees are motivated in these new jobs, Kellogg should employ the theory of job enrichment. Job enrichment would give these employees more to do within their new position and more control over tasks assigned to them. To solve the goal setting problem, some Kellogg's employees might begin to struggle with motivation because the goals within the company have become unclear or unapplicable after the split. Kellogg's will need to help them set new goals, which they could do using Locke and Latham's extended goal setting theory. Under this theory, Kellogg's will help employees design difficult and specific goals and ensure that employees accept and are committed to these goals. A solution to the participation problem is Kellogg's will need to find new ways to increase employee participation in the process of creating 2 new companies. Kellogg's can increase participation by allowing workers to help choose new names for procedures, help design new logos, and develop new ways of doing things. Kellogg's is already starting to increase employee participation by soliciting employee ideas to name the 2 companies.
So my name is Ryan Tunnicliffe. My major is finance, and I chose chapter 7, groups and teams, since this chapter talks about how groups and teams work together in an organization. It also talks about virtual teams, which in today's world, with more and more people working online, I believe this directly correlates with the Kellogg splitting into 2 companies and some potential problems. With the Kellogg splitting into 2 separate companies, one of the major problems that can occur is an issue within their teams and groups. Obviously, they're going to have to cut some teams that were already in place. They're going to have to start to make new ones. And with remote work being more and more like in our world today since COVID, there's potential issues that come up with that. You can't see their body language, and it's hard to communicate, especially like in a meeting setting, and just overall the communication issues that are with remote teams. Some of the solutions would be, since the company is splitting into 2 separate companies, breaking up teams is going to have to happen. In order for this to work, it has to be an easy transition for employees into their new positions or teams. Communication between the 2 companies needs to be at its highest, especially right now with them figuring out everything. And to fix the problem with making new teams, the companies are going to have to make certain teams that apply to each department that they're going to have, such as finance, accounting, manufacturing, and etc. These teams could be one of the following: functional, cross-functional, problem solving, and even global teams. These teams and groups can be used to help the flow of communication between the different departments. And what teams and groups really do is help the company plan ahead and like have meetings so you can figure things out with your group and make sure everything flows smoothly. And with regards to remote work, I think that it should only be happening like in the global team's perspective, since with the split, it's easier to talk face to face. And if it can't, it should only be used when needed for meetings.